If you want to know how to get unstuck from the worst stuck you'll ever be, stay here because we're going to uncover 3 major changes that will turn Endgame upside down. Some people will be downplaying this, and in a couple weeks they'll be completely unprepared. So in this video, I'll show you what you need to know to be ready for these massive changes. So in the background, we have 3452 pre-nerf, and in the foreground, we're talking about 3 major things. It's going to be endgame campaign changes, and how being stuck is going to change entirely for most players. It's going to be stargazing versus 4-faction meta, and heroes that are going to skyrocket in viability because of this. Now, what are the campaign changes? There's 2 big changes to multi-set campaign. Now, most of you viewers in chapter 27, believe me, you're going to want to stick until the end of this video to not get stuck. First, the change in life allowing you to retry stages that you fail. This means that if you fail a stage and you're in the middle of the replay, you can keep retrying it. You all know this. And second is the change on test, drastically reducing the difficulty of ladder sets in multi-stage boss fights. Now, this is gonna sound crazy to some of you, but I predict most tryhards, even FTPs, won't be stuck on boss fights anymore. You heard me right. The reason is boss fights are gonna scale very slowly all the way to chapter 36. For example, when the 3rd set introduced in the end of chapter 1, the 2nd set is still really weak, containing mythic heroes, which should be pretty easy to take even with not a completely viable team, just as half-invested carry. So most viewers of this channel have already prepared for the endgame, setting their wishlist straight and putting up decent furniture and SI priorities, so you should have at least like 1, 2, 3 carries by the time you hit those stages. So if in the past you used to be stuck on 31-4, that's drastically nerfed, giving you much more time of campaign progress to acquire some of those sets. Now, the astute of you are going to challenge this. If I make faster progress in campaign, I'll just get to the point where the 2nd set is difficult faster. That's right, but that's overlooking one key mechanic that's left untouched: minimum power. I predict tryhards are going to be min power capped like heck. This is going to be the worst thing about campaign, and not at the boss stages because these don't have the requirement. You will have 1 decent set at chapter 31 to get through it, you will have 2 by chapter 32, and you will have the 3 that you really need for chapter 33. What you're gonna be stuck on is the non-boss stages because these do require the minimum power. Obviously, that's not all of you. People who wait a lot before they push will have some time in between, and if you don't push all the way to min power, it'll be fine. But still, how can you avoid the incredibly unfun territory that is being min power capped? Now, there's an answer to this, and the answer lies within the most simple but most deadly mechanic of all. The one thing people like to overlook, and you probably know what I'm going to talk about because it's not as shiny as it used to be, it's just under your nose, but boy is it gonna make the difference: leveling. Now, I went spying on some of you guys in my Discord to see what's the habits at. How are we doing on terms of leveling over here? And when you don't buy dust because you aren't dust world, I can see. When you don't grab fast rewards, 100 diamonds to get a cool summon instead for 300, I can see that too. When you throw in cheese, okay, this is getting a little bit too far, but you get the point. Even if you aren't dust or XP wall now, you likely will be in the future. This shift and smart investment will help you later, so make sure that you grab those resources even if you aren't blocked on them, even prioritize them over that one hero cherry summon you want to do. Another awesome mechanic for PvE people are overlooking is tree. Tree is huge in PvE. If you think otherwise, you're wrong, and you should probably read the Celerity 30 ability. Shout out to Hyper. Anyways, on to the next big topic. I think we covered this basics just enough, and that's what you mid-game players need to know: gazing versus 4 factions. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. Among most pros I talked to, we're a minority that advocated for early stargazing at 8 or 10 good heroes. I mean, at the time it wasn't necessarily wrong. Many accounts, even free to play, made great engine comps, and this is a hot take, so I should tread really lightly about this. Blah blah blah, who cares? New campaign changes hit, and if you listen to me, you won the lottery. You, yes you, Peter, who started gazing with 8 ascended heroes, you are the winner. Congratulations. Why is that? Because you won't need many good faction sets like before. You heard it here. These changes are the biggest buff to stargazing yet. It's indirect, but it's right over there. Now, that doesn't mean that 4 faction is bad. Heroes like Isolde, Aaron, Dame, and Gwyneth can give a fight to God comp in terms of consistency, but we are fighting one series set for the majority of it, maybe 2. From the failed and successful endgame replay dataset, this is not an opinion piece. We know that God Comp is still the most consistent. So because you can now take your sweet time building your third set while you might be min power capped, you can probably get one of those heroes like AFKArena early mid game. You now have this spot that you can sacrifice the time to actually go ahead and grab that Aziz from those coins, grab those twins from those gazes. Many people should consider gazing Arthur to get their consistent win rate, blast through main sets, have their KT sets ready, some PvP utility, which are going to be the main challenges going forward. Now, what we aren't sure about is starting priority itself. Maybe Source can sub to Lean and now you can gaze twins first. Maybe Lucretia will take priority with the buffs. The new meta in light of these changes is still forming, so stay tuned and subscribe so I can update you once we know more. But what we do know is that gazing is better than it used to be, that's for sure. Lastly, heroes that skyrocket in viability because of this. Since you only need one consistent set, all these side heroes that need a lot of support can work way more flexible heroes now. So the biggest winners of this win more carries or side carries with high stats, there's lots of them, but the biggest one are going to be stuff like Izol, Damon, Aaron, Soros, Khazard, Lucretia, Thorin, Cheese EU, Ezio, Farrell, Thalia, Ainz. Congratulations to all of you. Nice list we got over there. Also you Khazard main like Justin, all of you, you're winners. I'll make this video more hot take than it used to be. You can even use Shamir against the weaker sets. Just kidding, don't buff Shamir's Belinda's because of me, don't do it. YouTube, please don't ban me for fake news, I'm a nice linker. But does everyone agree with my hot takes? Probably not. That's okay, they're gonna get stuck. Let me know what you think below. Like and subscribe, and as always, I've been Linker. Peace.